Marriage is one of those things that shows us about us. It shows me. You're with that person through thick and thin. You're with that person for better, for worse. You're with that person when the storms and tornadoes and the hurricanes and earthquakes come and the tsunamis or whatever else. You were there. You were there. You were just like, that person is looking at you at your worst. You're looking at that person at their worst. And they're there for you at your best. But even at your worst, that person, whoever your spouse is celebrating you and wants the best for you. And that's the thing about marriage. Hello, queens. Hello. So glad you're here. Hope I didn't get lipstick on my teeth. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back. This is episode 34 of Powerfully Her. 34. We are going strong. And I am so thankful for you showing up for you. I really am. It is so humbling and exciting and just pure joy and blessings. So I'm so glad you are here. And in this episode 34, Powerfully Her, is the title is going to be about marriage. Marriage. That's right. Marriage and the importance of marriage and just how marriage really just shows us about ourselves and the importance of marriage and how I think it's wonderful, even though sometimes there'll be ups and downs. But if you marry the right person, it is totally worth it. So thanks for showing up. All right, queens, we're here. We're ready to go. Like always, we just hit the ground running and we're just ready to rock. But before I do that, I want to talk about you. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How's everything going for you? I want to know. Put it in the comments. I like to know how you feel about the episodes too. I like the engagement, and I respond. I definitely respond. I make sure I respond. And I also want to just to be very clear, I like to be open and honest, but at the same time, I do not tolerate any disrespect. And not to say that you have, but just in general, this is about love and support. I don't want to tear anyone down. I just want to uplift women and just people in general. But my lane is women, is empowering women and married couples. So that's what I do. However, and I love to do. However, what that looks like, or in addition to, is positivity. Pure positivity. So the comments, I love. The engagement, I love. The communication, I love. I love this, as you can see. But I will not tolerate and stand for is disrespect from anyone. I don't want anyone disrespecting you. I don't want anyone disrespecting each other, anything. Or just disrespecting me, anything. I just don't tolerate disrespect. And this is why you see why I go hard with the way I speak as far as you showing up for you, because I take disrespect very seriously, and as should you. I don't like that. I don't like whether it's upfront disrespect, behind the scenes, on the laptop disrespectful, or on your phone disrespectful, social media wise. I don't care what format it's in. I don't like it. I don't tolerate it, and I will shut it down. So if there's something ever disrespectfully being said in the comments, I will not respond. I'm not going to respond to anything that's negative. And I'm sure that you would do the same thing. Like, I don't want to engage negativity. I don't want you to engage negativity. I just want us to get in a habit of learning to shut things down. And this is the importance of having healthy boundaries as well. So with that being said, because we're powerfully her, right? We can't say we're powerfully her and we tolerate disrespect, right? So we don't do those things. But on with the episode. I just got to make some things clear. But yeah, episode 34. I'm so excited that we are here, and let's jump inside. So marriage. The purpose of this episode, marriage, is because married life is a real thing. That's why married life is a real thing. Marriage is one of those things that shows you about you more than anything else. And no, I wouldn't say more than anything else, because parenthood does the same thing. Any place where you have to show up constantly, you have to show up. You have to be there. You have to give your all. No matter what the seasons of your life are, no matter what the temperatures are, you still have to show up. No matter what the world is giving you, and it could be hard. And I know, because trust me, right now, I'm going through it. I'm definitely going through it. So I know what that feels like. But marriage, because we're talking about marriage, and God willing, we will talk about parenting. And I did say that I want us to talk about a lot of meatier, real meat heavy topics, because that's something that it can be uncomfortable, that's discomfort, but it's going to help us grow. So I don't want us to ignore things, and I just don't want to say fluffy things just to make you feel good, but that's not helping you in life. I want to give you something that is going to help you in your life. That's why we're doing it. Powerfully Her is about you knowing who you are. It's bringing you back to you, right, Queen? It's bringing you back here. Let's come back home. Let me come back to me. That's what Powerfully Her is. And if we don't, if my husband and I, if we don't tackle difficult topics and we don't address really important things, why are we doing this? Like, why? I don't want to talk about being cute. I don't want to talk about things. I don't want to, yes, be beautiful and all those things. Yes, but that's not my lane. I think that's great for the content creators, and that's what they do. I think that's wonderful. My little sisters, they are very glam girls. They are dolled up, makeup. Like, honestly, I won't be having makeup on, right? Like, I like makeup. I do, but I just don't like the process. It takes forever to put on, and I can't stand taking it off. But I love makeup. I think makeup is great. I think it accentuates a woman's beauty. I think it brings out what you wanted to bring out. But at the same time, if you don't like makeup, that's cool too. I'm not a makeup girl. I'm not a makeup girl. I'm not even a heels girl. But the thing is, none of those things take away from who we are. And there's a perfect lane for everyone to be able to use their gifts. My little sisters love makeup. They're very glam girls, and that's wonderful because that's who they are. I want you to be empowered for who you are. Me, I'm motivational, inspiring. That's me. But I want us to be in who we are. So back to Powerfully Her. I know it's like I'm going through a list of things today. Just like things, no disrespect. And then what Powerfully Her means, yes, it's important because you have to reiterate things. And I'm a communicator. So that means that Powerfully Her is that. Powerfully Her is not someone else telling you what it is, what it looks like in a way to tear you down. That's what Powerfully Her is not. Powerfully Her is you being who you naturally are. It's about loving who you are, being empowered for who you are, celebrating who you are, no matter color skin you have, no matter your weight, no matter your age, no matter how much money you make, no matter whatever. None of those things take away the beauty that God put inside of you. Powerfully Her is you being powerful. Powerfully Her knows that whatever someone else has, it doesn't take away from you. And that you're amazing and strong and beautiful in your own right and your own power. That's what Powerfully Her is. So I celebrate all women as long as we are uplifting each other. I have a problem with the disrespect. That's what you know. I have a problem with any disrespect coming from anybody, whether it be a man or a woman. So this is why when I said tying it back to marriage and that being the topic, is marriage is one of those things that shows us about us. It shows me. You're with that person through thick and thin. You're with that person for better, for worse. You're with that person when the storms and tornadoes and the hurricanes and earthquakes come. And the tsunamis or whatever else, you were there. You were there. You were just like, that person is looking at you at your worst. You're looking at that person at their worst, and they're there for you at your best. But even at your worst, that person, whoever your spouse is celebrating you and wants the best for you. And that's the thing about marriage. And it breaks my heart when I see the statistics of marriage going down and a lot of people not getting married anymore. It does, because it's unfortunate. And I'm a God-fearing woman, so I'm a Muslim. So marriage is very big. But the thing is about marriage, it's not something where I don't want people to be like, well, you're not married, you need to get married. I'm not going to ever tell somebody that. I'm not going to ever tell you how to live your life. I'm not. But I do know what marriage can do. And I do know what the purpose of marriage is and why God wanted us to be married. Because a marriage is two different people. You guys know what it is, but it is, Queens, bringing two powerful, strong people together in this vast world that we live in. And it's vast. In this world, you're finding two beautiful people that have come together because of God, that have come together out of all the people in the world, billions of people in the world, and you two somehow found one another and fell deeply, deeply in love, and you were the happiest you've ever been. You were lighter. You felt you could do anything. Like that feeling is when you're a kid where like everything's, everything's possible. When you're in love, right? That feeling of love. Like I really want you to like close your eyes and think about the first person you loved. What did that feel like? Like, didn't it feel like it's the best thing ever? And the great thing about love is that no matter the age, that same feeling is still there. You could be 82, fall in love, right? And that same feeling is there as if you were like 23. And that's what shows you about love. Love is there's no age on love. Love is supposed to make us vivacious and youthful and happy and fun and all of those good things. That's what love is. It's supposed to bring you back to saying, don't be dry and dark and morbid. No, love is that same feeling that you get no matter your age. And it shows too, right? It shows when people are like, these people in love. Like, I see something there. That's a huge deal. It's a really huge deal. So that's the thing when it comes to marriage. That's why I wanted you to think about the first time you were in love and that feeling, that summer, spring feeling. And then also to think about, did you marry the person that you were in love with? Because sometimes that's not everyone's story. And that's true. Sometimes everyone's story isn't they sometimes don't marry the person they're in love with. And that's a reality. I don't want to be like, well, like, why don't you marry the person you're in love with? Sometimes that's not the way it goes. And I don't ever want to minimize that voice or it could be pain. I don't want to minimize that. Or it could have worked out for the better. Could have been an arranged marriage. It could have been a hookup. It could have been something where people that you knew brought you together. That could be a very real thing. But regardless of what it is, I want you to understand, and please, the biggest thing I want you to take away from this is that you're deserving of love. That's what I want you to remember, Queen. You are 100% deserving of love. 100%. No one has the right to take your opportunity and your blessings away from you that God gave you. You deserve love. You are love. And with you in the world, you're making the world much better. So I don't want you to ever take that away, that you do deserve that. But back to the feeling. You see that feeling, or just when you watch a movie, when you see people watching a movie and you just light up seeing other people in love, right? Or even that feeling when you see hot and steamy scenes. I'm like, oh, can't look at that because I want to be doing that. Let me tell you something. We grown. I'm not a fan, thank God, and no shade. I love making scenes and other people. I don't want to see nobody doing that. That's their business. Even if they're acting, that's their business. I shouldn't be looking at that. That's not for me to look at. I want to do it with me and my husband. So I don't ever, so that's where I'm at. That's private. It's private. I'm a private person. That's private. Some things I'm definitely open about. But some things like I said, some things in the episodes prior, I said some things we have to cherish and be sacred. So some things have to be sacred. And when it comes to your intimacy, you need to be private about that. So that's why when I would say love scene, I'm like, click. No, I want to see that. I want to see that. That's private. That's their business. And their coworkers pretending they're in love, regardless, it's private. They're like, well, it's in the movie. Still, I shouldn't be looking at that. I don't want to look at that. And I'd rather be doing that with my husband. So I don't want to see it. So I don't want to see that. But it's so funny with makeup. Your nose runs all the time. And it's like every fiber, like any from cloths or anything, just get on your face. You're like, ah. But yeah, but look at that feeling when you watch cinema or watch a video. It makes you feel good. Why? When you see someone love, why? Because we are created from love. We are love beings. We are a love species, and love does make the world go round. So when it comes to marriage and love, I hope that you're with the ones that you love. You're with the one that you love, I hope. And if you are not, always remember that you are deserving of love and you deserve the best. And as long as you stand for what's right, but God first, it's only a matter of time, but you got to love you first. I'm big on that. I don't want you to, because we lose ourselves, and that's one of the things I want to talk about in marriage. Sometimes the things that when you see yourself, sometimes you don't see yourself. So the things as far as through the best moments of being married is you're supposed to marry your best friend. You are. You're supposed to marry your best friend. That's what I think. I think you're supposed to marry your best friend. Your spouse is supposed to be your best friend. And you're supposed to have an incredible life. Your life should be vivacious and big and colorful. Whatever you want it to be, you should be able to have that. And you should be able to have that person right next to you celebrating you and not competing with you like, oh, well, you got this promotion at work today. Well, at work, I'm having a hard time. You're like, what? Like, babe, that's, great. I love your promotion. I think that's great. And, the wife, you're pouring into your husband. You're like, babe, that's great. Whatever it is, there's no competition when you guys love each other. And when you're in the right marriage, it's the support and the love is there. And that goes for any relationship. Any relationship, the love and support is there. There's no competition. That's the right one. But when it comes to marriage and building a life with someone, there should be no competition. If anything, we're inspiring each other to go for the best and be our true best. We're not fighting against each other. So the things, as far as when I look at my marriage, when I I don't want to evaluate, like who am I? But when I observe other marriages, it's important. The number one thing, y'all, the number one thing for marriage and all relationships, but with this topic we're talking about marriage, is communication. Communication, y'all. Communication is the number one single most thing that you need in your life is communication. And when I speak with my clients, the clients that I have that are married, that are struggling, that is always the number one issue. It's communication. Communication is always the biggest thing. And I always word it with, I could always observe because I'm good at this, but I could always observe what the issue is. And I better be able to do it if I'm a coach, right? I could always assess what the issues are. Underlying issue is always communication. Even if it's infidelity, financial struggles, feeling distant, any of those things and more. Communication is the foundation of all of it. All of it. All of it is communication. And once that's not being met, it's a cascade. Everything falls apart. Everything falls apart. And then what happens is we're starting to listen to the bad thoughts, the whispers of the enemy of, well, this person doesn't love you. This person doesn't care about you. If this was happening, this shouldn't be happening. If it was happening, if they cared about you, this wouldn't be happening. All these awful things. And then sometimes we'll entertain it like, yeah, you're right. And then what happens? So we're not shutting down the negative thoughts in our head, right? And the number way to do it is with gratitude, right? Because those negative thoughts happen. Trust me, my mind, all of our minds be going wild, right? Crazy things that are not even true, right? Not even true. So we're in our mind, spinning, going nuts. And we don't shut it down. But then there are moments when we do shut it down, and we should always shut it down. Don't ever entertain negative thoughts, dark thoughts, never. And I have to remind myself of that too. Don't do it, Nadira. Don't. I was talking to my husband last night, and he said to me, babe, just be careful. Just don't assume. You never know. And I'm like, you're right. Because, as a woman, let's be honest, we think we know everything. It's true. Majority of times we're right about a lot of things, but we're not right about everything. So I'm glad he told me that. But I married my best friend. I married someone that we have really great communication. We feel each other. I could have a look on my face. Anything. My husband knows. Same thing for him. I know we feel each other. Vibing. Communication. Communication can even be when you're not even speaking. That's deep. That's a whole nother level. But that's what true love looks like. But that's what the main thing is the lack of communication. My husband was absolutely right. Do not assume. And that's true. So the negative thought in my head was, I already thought I knew I had everything figured out about a situation, but I was already assuming. And then the thing is, I was assuming this about people I love. See, this is why it's very important us to take everything back to, remember the common denominator, me, myself. We are our biggest cheerleader or we are our biggest downfall. That's a fact. Everyone else could pour it into you, but if you don't believe that, if you don't believe the positivity you're being given, it's going to be a waste of time. But if you, on the flip side, if you're your own cheerleader, like, yeah, I got this, it's going to work out, everything like that, then your life will turn out the way you want it to be. And again, this is something I have to remind myself of, because we all have those moments when we get dark. We do, where we listen to those dark thoughts. And this is why we have to be honest with ourselves. We're like, yeah, I need help. Yeah, I'm struggling. Yeah, this is what I'm going through. And when you're married to the right person and you're in a good marriage, that person will help you unpack that pain that you're going through. That person will be there for you. That person will support you. That person will know the problems that you're having and will say, let's do this together because I love you. As opposed to, well, babe, I told you don't do this. And I told you, like, what is it? I told you. I told you. And it's like, that's hurting my feelings. I don't like that. No one, to ever tell someone, I told you so, is such ineffective communication. It's a horrible thing to say to someone. And even if that person is right, even if the person's like, I told you not to do it, it's just not right. You know why it's not right? Because you wouldn't want it done to you. You don't want anyone to tell you that. You don't want anyone to ever tell you, I told you so. I told you shouldn't have did that. I told you. Like, it blows up in your face. You already feel like crap. And then someone that you care about, that loves you, the first thing they say is, well, I told you, I see you should have listened to me. Like, that's not making things better. Everything's worse now. And now I'm stuck on what you just said. Ineffective communication. You see? Everything's communication. Everything. Having an argument and arguing in a way where, what do most people do? What is projected in the world today? Say what you got to say first. Hit the person last with the words. Cut deep. Who cares? Listen, whoever gets the most blood in their words wins. Forget that person. And you're like, what? Isn't that your husband? Isn't that your wife? Why are you talking like that? You know? And that's the things that I help coach my clients with. Do you see how you just spoke to her? And the majority of the time, some of the husbands don't see it. And then sometimes I have to tell the wives, do you see how you just spoke to your husband? You see how you just spoke to your spouse? Because what happens is sometimes, y'all, we don't see ourselves. We don't. Sometimes we don't. And it takes a very courageous person to step outside themselves like, whoa, that wasn't good. I shouldn't have did that. Or refrain from saying hurtful things. If you're in an argument with someone that you love, again, guys, the reason why I'm stressing love is because when you love someone, you're not going to do things to intentionally hurt them. You're not. That's different from teaching your children to eat healthier. Like, okay, they're going crazy because they don't eat their veggies. But you're doing it because you know, in the long run, it's better for them, right? Or you're limiting the screen time. They're going to be upset, but you're limiting because I understand the development of your brain. All these, or anything. That's tough love. But don't confuse tough love with abuse. There's a difference. If you're with someone that is intentionally hurting your feelings, that's not the right person for you. It's not. Because why in the world would you want to be with someone that wants to hurt your feelings? Not once. I tell you, my husband and I, as far as communication, thank God, because of God, our communication is excellent. But the moments that we do argue or we have disagreements, one thing we do not, and we're very clear on, we try not to cross the line with each other. We try not to say anything disrespectful. I don't ever want to be that person. I don't want to be that woman. I don't want to be that queen that just hits below the belt just because I can, because I have a mouth, because I just want to hurt his feelings, just because I want to piss him off, because I want to win this argument. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the last word woman. I don't. And that's something I tell, not all, but the women, the clients that have, the wives, I will say, are you being the last word woman? Or the man, are you being the last word man? You're like, no. They're like, yes, you are, because look at the last things you said to them. Look what you said. This is not your enemy. That's not your enemy. Stop talking to your husband like he's your enemy. Stop talking to your wife like that's your enemy. That is a problem. But again, I like to take things to the beginning. And with my clients, I take to the beginning. And we got some cat hair. The number one thing I take to the beginning is, tell me about your parents and what was it for you growing up? What was your relationship with your parents? Or your parents both married? I take a deep dive, because We are reflecting what we had growing up. Facts. 100% facts. If you have trauma and you don't heal from that trauma, it is going to pour into every single relationship in your life. 100%. Without a doubt, it is going to pour in. And not intentionally. It's not intentional. But it's a pattern. Remember the patterns. It's a habit. It's a patterns that we created because this is something we've grown up with. We grew up with. So this is what we see. We see yelling and fighting and screaming and throwing things or saying things that are so below the belt that cut deep. And cursing. That's what we do. That's the way I grow up. That's the way we fight. That's the way you're like, that's not healthy. So as you get older, when you get older and you get into your relationships, you're doing the exact same thing. Thinking this is the way it's supposed to be. Because unfortunately, we sometimes have been conditioned to believe just because things are the way they are, that's the way they're supposed to be. And that's not true. Like there shouldn't be racism. Just because it exists doesn't mean it's supposed to be. There shouldn't be poverty. Just because it exists doesn't mean it's supposed to be. There's sexism. There's all these, there's child abuse. Abuse in general, just because it exists doesn't mean it's supposed to be. See, we have to be a people to understand that we have to dismantle, destroy the destruction and the evil of things that have been consistent and have persisted in life. Just a human experience. We shouldn't have those things. They shouldn't. Those things should be shut down. Just like when I spoke about the comments in the beginning of the episode, and the correlations I'm making is shutting things down before they could get worse. That's what we need to do. Don't engage in things like that. Shut stuff down. So just because something exists does not mean it's supposed to be that way. And there are a lot of people in the world that are not playing fair, clearly. But they're doing it because they believe that they could do whatever they want. But I digress. So when it comes to loving someone in an argument, you don't want to be that person. And the best reflection I can give and what I give to my clients and what I will give to you is if you do not want it done to you, don't do it to others. Period. Simple. If you do not like someone saying something, cutting deep with you or talking below the belt, you don't do it. Don't do it. Don't say it. Well, I've always felt this way. What? There's a difference between wanting to get something off your chest in a healthy way and getting something off of your chest in a negative way, in an unhealthy way. Big difference. For instance, you might have an issue with your in-laws. You don't say in the argument, this is why I hate your mother. This is why your father hates your mom. This is why you don't know who your father is. This is why they do. What? That's not okay. This is why your mom's not remarried. This is why nobody like her. Wow, what are we doing? What are we doing? Or this is why I can't stand your father. This is why this is happening. Look at this. Look at that. What are we doing? What are we doing? Now, what's happening is you're creating other issues. Now, that one problem you had for that argument, now you got 10 more. 10 more. And is it worth it? And then this is coming from someone that you love, right? That you love. That's not okay. It's not okay, Queen. So this is why when it comes to marriage, marriage shows us who we are. The relationships that you have with people that are with you long term shows you who you are. When someone sees you when you're easily triggered, that person is still there. That's you. Who you are when you clock out from work or who you are when you get out of your business, when you get home, that's the real you. And whoever is there, what family that is there, whether you spouse, children, or both, whatever it is, no matter what is family, whatever it is, that's the real you. Because it's real easy for us to clean up at work or in our business out in the world. But when you close that door, it's just you. That's the real you. So this is why it's very important to always have the mindset of, if I don't want it done to me, I'm not going to do it to others. And especially to people that you love. So how do we break down the negative ways and unhealthy ways that we see in the way marriage is? Well, first thing, we have to acknowledge and be aware that it's an issue first. That's got to be tackled first. It can't be something where that's just the way it's been. That's not helping. You have to address the fact that that is a problem. That is a problem. It's a problem if your parents can't even be in the same room and have a healthy conversation with each other. And again, I don't know things that have happened, so I have to be careful with that. But it is unhealthy that the only time you see people talking to each other, they're yelling and they're shouting and potentially cursing. That's unhealthy. Because that's, as children, that's what we're going to do. So going to like, okay, let me address the reason why I am the way I am in relationships. And then make a list of 3 things, just 3, of why either you don't believe in marriage or why you do believe in marriage. Because again, I don't want to force on anyone, but Powerfully Her, we're talking about all this stuff. We're talking about life, and marriage is a big part of our lives. If you were married, or if you're not married, maybe your parents were, they weren't. Either way, marriage is a part of life, and in some facet for others. So this is where we're going to tackle heavy conversations, and we get knee deep into things. And this will be part 1. This is not just like, marriage. And then like, I like to go deep. So this is part 1, but I want you to look at that. I want you to look at that because again, marriage is beautiful. It is beautiful. And some people are not married to the right person. That's another thing. That's a big thing. Some people are married to the wrong person. And my heart breaks for that, because what it does is it distorts the beauty of marriage, because you're with someone that you don't love. So, we can live in a world where I understand like we need money, things like that. Even if you marry for money, you could feel like a stranger with that person. I don't love this person. Yes, they take care of the bills. Yes, they take care of everything like that. But I don't love this person. I haven't ever loved this person. And you're with that person because of means. And I get it. We need money. We need it. We've always needed money. But to lose yourself and you're miserable. You're like, yeah, I have the nice house, I have the cars, I have this and that material. But you're not at peace on the inside. That's not what God intended. Because marriage is supposed to be love. We're supposed to cover one another. We're supposed to support each other. We're supposed to believe in each other and make love. Let me tell you something. If we go to the blueprint of how God created how his blueprint, right? Which is going back to his holy books. And adhere to them. If we stick to that, we can't go wrong. Things are going to happen. Tests are going to come 100%. But if we stick to the blueprint that God gave, we're going to be good. And what happens as human beings is we think we know more than a manufacturer. No, I know how to do this. They don't know what they're talking about. You be like, you forgot 5 of those screws that the manufacturer said to use. And now the bike's going to break because you think you know. Or like you're building a car and you're like, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to put this piece and that piece. And the manufacturer intended for this. And the car breaks down because we think we know better. Don't ever think you know more than a manufacturer. Don't ever think we know more than God. And we would stick to the blueprint. And again, there are a lot of people messing up the blueprint. But if we go back to the blueprint, that's why I said, as far as awareness of when it comes to marriage, if we stick to the blueprint, we'll be good. And God is just like, look, I want you to find someone that you're in love with, a good person, queen, someone that loves you no matter what. They loves you and what's the best for you and pushes you to be the best. I don't want to say push you, but you know what I mean? Encourages you, uplifts you, empowers you to be your best. Not push, you know what I mean that. But that person's like, I'm pushing you to greatness. I'm uplifting you. I'm letting you know, like, no, what are you doing? That's what my husband had to do to me yesterday. And I needed that because life can be hard. So life can be hard, queen. So if life is hard, why are we choosing the wrong person? That's the thing. Life is already hard enough. For women, it's hard. Hard. We go through menstrual cycles. I spoke about for menstrual cycles, childbearing, premenopause, menopause, miscarriages, everything. All these things and more. So why in the world are we choosing someone that doesn't have our back? That just doesn't. We have to stick to the blueprint. And when you stick to the blueprint of God, your gifts will flourish. That's another thing. Because you're not complicating things. Could you imagine you're out there trying to figure out, like, I want to be with someone, And I get it. And someone's deserving of your love. That's another. You're deserving and someone deserves to have your amazing love as long as they're an amazing person. So I have to say that. But, those great things you should be able to have. have. But if you're able to stick to the blueprint what God has, you don't have to stress about having a good spouse. You got one. Now you can flourish on your gifts. You can work on your gifts. Because one major part of your life has already been, at least I have my person. At least I have my spouse. He's a good man. He's a good spouse. Do you understand how that feeling? That's different. I don't have to worry about that. Yes, nurture that relationship. Of course, I'm not saying that you of course you have to nurture. You have to nurture. Because anything that you have, anything you got to take care of, you got to take care of your relationships. You have to take care of your spouse, and they have to do the same for you. We have to take care of each other. That's where communication comes from. Because we're expressing how we feel. But if you don't have to, you'll be like, I have a good spouse. I can count on this person. I love my husband. Then you can worry, you can focus on the great things that God put inside of you. You don't have to worry about, if you want to write a book, you can write a book. You have to worry about, I hope he's not cheating. Like, what? Like, that's terrible. But if you have a good one, God willing, that's something that you don't have to focus on. But you do continue to nourish your relationship with your spouse and nourish yourself. Don't get lost in the sauce, because another thing that happens. Because sometimes when we get very lost, and men too. But as we get older, what happens is we get stuck, the rhythm goes away. The harmony of our life goes away. This song, the dancing, and the mind, body, and soul, the rhythmic, that love of everything, that's starting to go away because everything's boredom, and everything is that lust for life is going away. And that's the scary thing. Turning, and this is something else with my clients I'm going from romance to roommates. That's another thing. We're going from romance to roommates. We were in love, we have the romance, and now we're roommates. They're empty nesters. Their kids are gone. They look at each other like, what are we going to do? Because 50 years we were working. Now I don't even know you. And your spouse is like, I don't know you either. But that's where I come in, right? But this is why communication is very important, because along the way, we have to speak up. Have to speak up. What do you want? What feels good? Even sexually. Like I said, with the blueprint, if you marry, God is pleased with this, your spouse, you and your spouse. He has put the blessing on your marriage. Okay, now you get to make love. Like, God is like, it's an easy layup. Yes, life is hard. It can. It's not that easy. But what I'm saying is, God, the way he framed it is it's supposed to be in love. You get married. When you guys make love, it's beautiful. You're having sex with the one you love. Amazing, right? I could trust you. You could trust me. I know that we're here for each other, and you care about my body. That's another thing, communication. Women, sometimes we don't communicate how we want it in the bedroom. That's another thing. That's a huge piece. That's another thing I deal with my clients with, because that's big. Don't be meek. Put it down, queen. What do you want? How do you like it? Ask him how he likes it. This is your spouse. Don't get in a habit. I had 2 other clients where I had to tell them, why is it easier for you to have sex with each other than to have a difficult conversation? I'll wait. And they looked at each other, and then they looked at me, and they both like shrugged their shoulders. They were like, they did not. I'm like, well, we have a lot to unpack, because that's backwards. And honestly, that's what happens in the world today. We have been conditioned from the enemy, from the devil, flat out the devil, that it is okay to be able to have sex with someone and not be able to have a conversation with someone. It has gotten to the point where going out, hooking up with a complete stranger is easy to do, but to have a conversation with someone is detrimental. Like, I can't even think of having the conversation. What? This is a conversation. This is the biggest conversation. That's the biggest conversation. And you mean to tell me you can't have that conversation, but you can have that one? Like, but that's the whispers. That's what the devil does. He's like, you know what would be a good idea? He's cute. You should get it in. Do it. Why not? You're young. Why not? Or if you're not young, whatever your age is, do it. You've never done it before. You've never done it. He's cute. He's feeling you. What? Excuse me, what? No. I don't pass judgment on anyone. I don't. But safety, and even if you are protected, you don't know that person. You don't know that person. And that person is taking a piece of you. It's a fact. It's a fact. But this is why we got to go back to the beginning. But if you are with someone that you love, that shouldn't be an issue. And if it is, again, there is help for that. But this is why I said, especially for wives struggling with how they want it sexually. And then there are some husbands that they don't feel confident too. That's another thing. I think sometimes women just automatically feel that a husband doesn't feel confident, and there's some men that do not feel comfortable. I had a husband where I had a couple where they actually didn't have sex for like 5 years because the wife, she was losing weight, but he wasn't losing weight. He was actually getting bigger. So their intimacy went down, and she said, babe, she met him big. So she was okay. She met him plus size. She was plus size too, but not to his level. She appreciated him and all of that, which is great. That's love. But health-wise, she was like, we need to get together. She started to supersede him and losing weight, and he didn't get there because he didn't feel confident, and they didn't have sex for 5 years. So what I'm saying is, it's not just a woman thing, it's a man thing. But the communication piece, when you're with someone that you love, you should be able to comfortably talk to them about what you want, even in the bedroom. Why are we together if I can't talk to you about how I like it sexually? Like, I'm not saying that's all of it, but that's a big part of it. Because how close you going to be with someone? The closest you could be with someone, one of the most biggest, not the only, but one of the biggest ways you be close to someone is sex. And we all know that. That's why it drives me crazy when I can't have a conversation where you can have sex with that person. But a lot of people have not been shown the way, and it's okay as long as you're open to it. So that's why I said, write the 3 things of why marriage is important to you, and maybe it's not. And why? Because I kid you not, when you are with, marriage is, again, and I cannot stress this enough, it is showing you about you. And it's not okay to be around someone where you want to rip that person to shreds, or that person wants to rip you to shreds with words. Let's get them. You're a word musician. Like, what are we doing? As opposed to being with someone that loves you, wants to uplift you, and seeing you hurt makes them hurt. That's the love I'm talking about. And that's the love God wants. That's the love God's talking about. And that's what we're supposed to be going after. So therefore, queens, know that you are deserving of love. You deserve love. A marriage is beautiful. Beautiful. When it's done the right way. Everything is beautiful when it's done the right way, queens. Everything. And I'm not saying there's not going to be problems, because there are. Storms are going to come. But this is why God said, for better, for worse. Right? For better, for worse. God's like, I know storms are going to come, but if you love each other, you'll stick it out. Right? And communication, speak. But how we speak, remember, effective communication, how we speak is very important. We don't just want to say anything because that's what I want to say it. Like, no, don't do that. And you could feel it when you're in an argument. You feel like you get hot, and you feel like you're like, I just got to get this out. I got to say it. And then like, don't do it. Don't do it. If you feel it coming out, don't do it. Don't word vomit. It's not worth it. It's not. Because now you're going to have a bucket more of problems. And that person, your spouse, when trust and believe, they remember what you said. If you want to be the last word, Susie, they're going to remember everything you just said. They remember. And words cut deep. I'll never forget that you said that. It's one of the hardest things when someone says, I'll never forget that you said that to me. I'll never forget that you did that to me. And you're like, dang. And most times when someone says that, they mean it. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget. You're like, whoa. Yeah, that disappointment, because they're like, how could you have done that to me? How could you have said that to me? And that's another thing about communication, is to hold something in, right? Hold something in for a while. And the moment you decide to speak on it, you lash out. Fire, venom coming out of you. And you just piling on that person. And it's like, and the other person's looking at you like, what? Not only have you always felt this way, how long have you been holding this in? And you're going to say it to me like this during this moment? And it's like, I'll never forget that you said that. I'll never forget you felt that way. I'll never, and you're like, this is something, my sister, little sister is similar issues, and marriage, we all go through it. And I love just to be able to be there and support. My family, we're great with that. We're great with giving each other great advice and just understanding. The thing is guys, no one's perfect. That's just flat out. There's no one perfect. So don't ever think anyone's perfect. Don't ever think, well, my spouse is perfect, and I'm like, no one's perfect, y'all. And there's no such thing as a perfect marriage either. That's stupid. Now, working towards excellence, that's what we want. We want excellence. We want we want to be excellent at everything we do. We want to give it our all. That same joy and that feeling to want to be around that person all the time and look your best and be your best. Keep that there, And no, sometimes it can be hard. We're working, we've got kids, life, inflation, you know what I mean? Life is really happening. So I get it. It's easier said than done, but just know that you're worth it. Your spouse is worth it, and love is worth it. So this is why it's important to not ever forget that. I'm like, the camera's like right here. I'm like, don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget. It is important. 100% is important. So this is why, queens, you want to stay focused on getting back to your natural and who you are. And your relationship with yourself is very important. Because yes, I'm a marriage coach and relationship coach, but it's about your relationship with you first. This is why I said sometimes a lot of women lose themselves. They do. We lose ourselves because we get wrapped into life. And I get it. Like, you're like, oh, do your hair. I don't have time to do my, that's going to take too long. And I got to do this and that and that. And all those things are valid. 100% valid, but it's worth it. And you're worth it, queen. You're worth it. If you are married, your marriage is worth it. And you deserve to have the best in life that God has for you. And communication is how we get there. Communicate. You got to communicate what you want. You got to say what you want. And if you don't, it's not going to turn out well. Because what happens is that person might not want to say anything to you either because they're afraid of hurting your feelings, or maybe the last time you had an argument didn't go so well. We wait weeks without talking to each other. That's another thing I teach my clients, that try not to go to bed angry at each other. Don't go to bed angry. Don't. It's so unhealthy. You know why? Because you don't know what's going to happen in the morning. That's the truth. You don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to even wake up in the morning. Real. See, I told you, Powerfully Her is about being honest. Real. You don't know. We don't know if we're going to wake up in the morning. So you really would rather go to bed without just saying, I apologize, or I hear you. Even if you're not ready to say sorry right now, because I don't force people to say sorry. Like, say sorry. Like, you grown. You just say, I hear you. I'm not there yet, but I hear you. Let that person, process and like, okay, at least they're hearing me. At least we're getting somewhere. Don't silent treatment your way to the bed. Don't do it, because we don't know what's going to happen in the morning. We don't know if this is our last moment. We don't know. And just because something hasn't happened doesn't mean it won't happen. You're like, what are the odds of someone getting in an argument and actually not waking up in the morning? What? You're not God. And there are a lot of people that don't wake up in the morning. So you don't know. That's the biggest reason why you don't want to do that. And also, you don't want someone that you love to fall asleep with that feeling on their heart. God willing, we all wake up, yes. But you don't want them to go to feeling like that. And you don't want to go to bed feeling like that. That's another piece of it. If you're not ready to sit down and discuss it, especially if you've been going out for hours or arguing, I get it. But if you are not ready to apologize, say, I hear you. And hopefully we'll be able to talk about it later in the morning. And we'll talk about tomorrow. That, at least that's an acknowledgement piece. And what is it? The biggest? Communication. Effective communication, because the poor communication, the miscommunication is going to bed angry. Go to bed angry. So with the bed angry. But that's miscommunication. That's ineffective communication. That's not the way you do it. Because you know what? First of all, none of us can sleep really well. Your mind is tossing and turning. You know you got to get up early. So now your head even more is popping. The devil's in there. He put even more thoughts in there. Yeah, and then you should have said this. And yeah, and remember when he said that? And he threw this at you. And then, but you said this. But it makes it even worse. Now we're worse off, as opposed to just saying, I hear you. Very powerful words. I hear you. As opposed to, I'll never forgive you for that. I'll never forget that you said that. Which one do we want? You have all the power, queens. You are amazing. You are special. And I want you to know that you do deserve love. You're deserving love. And this is marriage is a big deal. passionate about this topic, you could see, because I love marriage. I want people to have the best. Again, I don't want to push anything on anyone, but when you meet that one, and God willing, that is your best friend, oh my God, like, what can't you achieve? Love on display, right? But just remember that you were powerfully her. You're more than enough. You come from greatness, and greatness lives in you. And forever forward, queens, right? Forever forwards, never backwards, forever forwards. And I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye. I also want to invite you to, if you are struggling in your marriage, if you are having issues with your marriage, and I know most women are the ones, all the clients that reach out to me are all the wives, because men don't feel comfortable in that, because most men don't even go to the doctor, because just, I'm a man, like everything's okay. And you're like, no, nothing's okay. You need to go to the doctor. And your wife will help you get there. She'll make the call. But so the clients that reach out to me are always the wives, because they understand that there is an issue. And if you feel that you are having any issues in your marriage, and you and your husband are not where you need to be, you went from romance to roommates, and you're empty nesters, or maybe you're not empty nesters. Maybe it's just you are just not in a place where you guys once were, and you're used to the mundane routine, but you no longer see yourself and he doesn't see you, and you guys aren't happy, but you want your marriage to work. You know what you guys have is special and powerful, and you want to stay together. Well, I am your coach to help you. So as a relationship coach, as a marriage coach, this is what I do. And this is why my brand, Powerfully Her, is about empowering. Because see, if you're feeling empowered as a woman, you will feel empowered in all of your relationships, especially your marriage. So this is why I'm bringing the wife back to herself first, because once she gets back, she can help. I can help energize your marriage. And that is what I love to do. So if you are ready to say, you know what, I am having some issues in my marriage and I need to get some help, I will be honored to help you. So what I want you to do is click the link below. Let's book a clarity call. Let's speak so I can get you there, because again, you deserve an amazing life, an amazing marriage, and may you have the best things in life that God has for you. So click the link below and I will see you. And thanks for everyone else listening to Powerfully Her, and just know that you are more than enough and you deserve a life of greatness. Alrighty, have a good one. I was in my sweats at the bottom if you saw that, but you know. Have a good one. Thanks, bye.